Hello everybody, back here again for our vlog a day, and today is Monday the 15th, and today was a beautiful, lovely day to be alive. Got this morning, fairly decent time. Went ahead, which is actually late because the whole time zone thing from our normal time getting up, but got up and I was trying to make my mind up of where I was going to run at. Knew I wanted to get my run done before I took off to the airport in case flight was delayed and who knows what and whatever. I want to run around the airport parking lot again like I've done in the past to keep my run streak alive. So instead of driving all the way to town, wasting all the time in that, or even driving 10 minutes one way to the highway, I just ran the rock road straight from the house and said hell with it. It kind of sucks. Ended up having a couple different cars pass and just kicked up just insane amounts of dust and whatnot. One of them went over to their side at least, and the one I think actually been turned closer to me like some kind of dickhead. But what am I gonna do? Pick up a rock and throw it at him? So it was a shit I could do. So just said hell that don't recognize the car, so there's nothing I could do about it. Went ahead, finished my run, got back to the house, got my shower in, spoke to my aunt and uncle for a little bit before we took off. Just dealing with their loss, my cousin, their son, the whole thing there just sucks, and trying not to say the wrong thing and not to upset anybody, and just give my condolences and all that comes with it. So kind of got that figured out. From there, right now chocolate milk. I was going to take a couple extra. I was going to take about a quart and a half with me, and then didn't have enough. Mom, when she went and bought more for me, didn't realize only about a half gallon instead of the full gallon, and so I ended up drinking just under 2 gallons of milk this trip, and it would have been 2.5 gallons, but it is what it is. So got it done. Grabbed some ice, threw it in a couple plastic bags. I didn't want to lose a cooler because they weren't giving us a ride to the airport. One of my mom's friends that used to manage the apartment she used to live at was taking us back to the airport. She went and picked us up, and so I just thought, well, I want to keep a little colder soda. So we headed up, had that wrapped in a towel from Natalie. That way she could have her own towel back. So if they're going from Carolyn's, then Carolyn has their towel. So it is what it is there. So I went ahead and said heck with it. Got in there to Natalie's on the way back, stopped in at Walmart, returned some stuff I bought that was defective, and went ahead, headed on up, got the car gassed up, got it a bath, gave it a good quick wash, and then headed over to Natalie's, swapped cars, and then I drove up to Des Moines, stopped a few different times to pee because I drank like 2 liters of water before I left, plus about 24 ounces of milk, and also probably 24 ounces of soda. So I was definitely hydrated. I always drink a bunch of water before a flight because on an airplane it seems to get really dry real quick and dries my nose and stuff out, and it's really gross. So I wanted to hydrate as much as I could before that. So stopped a few times for peeing, which not a big deal. We left plenty early. We ended up stopping at a place called Smitty's, I think it is. It's got gigantic tenderloins, cut in half. Mom ate just the tenderloin, no bread at all, no bun, and she couldn't even finish her half the tenderloin. I ate my half the tenderloin and the bun, and was all I could eat at all. It was so big. It was so good. It was just big. So definitely could have easily had 2 buns in there and still had plenty of food left over in the process, but could have eaten 3 people, could have eaten that. It would not have been that big a deal. But went ahead, got to the airport, got ourselves into location. Everything was good there. No big deal with it. Got through security, went fine, except I had my ice water. I melted too much, so I went ahead and I had frozen a liter of water to take to the airport with me like I do each time, and too much had melted off, so we had to go over and dump it in the sink, and the guy wouldn't even let me carry it over there. I had to carry it himself, and I'm like, okay, you're touching all my shit, we're worried about COVID and all that stuff, and God knows what all you've touched now, and then you're touching my bottle and everything else, so it is what it is. We dumped it out, then filled it back up from the water dispenser right there. So dumbass rules, makes no sense. I'd washed my hands before I got in there and whatnot, and I got to the conveyor belt thing before I got to the checkout. We were taking our iPads out and everything else, which we just done Wednesday in Sanford, and the lady in Sanford said everybody follows the same rules, all TSA is exactly the same, so on and so forth. And this lady's yelling at us. The guy in front of me has like 4 different laptops. He's taking them all out in different trays and stuff, and she's yelling at him, leave them in the bag, don't make it hang out, leave them in the bag. And I'm like, what the hell? And then instead of coming over saying no electronics need to be removed from the bag, nothing from the bag, she's just yelling, don't let them out of the bag. But she's like 25 feet away, so we don't know if she's yelling to other people, don't know if she's yelling to us, whatever, no clue. So stick everything inside the baskets and whatnot, the buggies, whatever you want to call them, the little tubs, start sending stuff through, and of course the water is flagged, so my bag gets one bag gets kicked over to the side, and then from there, no big deal. I was finished up, I grabbed the rest of my stuff, put my money back in my pocket, my IDs and coins and all that good fun stuff, get that back in my pockets, throw my hats on, because I usually travel with multiple hats stacked on top of themselves, because I don't want to waste the bag space in my luggage, and put everything back on, head over, wait for my water to get done, go sit down, we're all ready to go, and I realized I don't have my watch. So I was like, son of a bitch, okay, must have been still on the conveyor belt, whatever, must get lost over there. So I check real quick on my phone, I sync it, and it's not syncing to my watch, to my phone. So I know it's not near me. So I head over to the conveyor belt x-ray area, and I told the lady, listen, a watch. And she just looks around and she goes, we don't have a watch, we nothing showed up. And I'm like, well, and as I'm standing there, it syncs to my phone. So I said, well, I'm within 15 feet of this watch right now, so it's now syncing, it's here. Somebody's got it, either in their pocket, on their wrist, or on the floor, in the conveyor belt, whatever. So it's probably one of the totes. I said, it wouldn't have been one of the totes, I would have seen it. It fell off inside on your conveyor belt, most likely. And she's like, we don't have it. 10 times she told me to have it. I said, well, I'm not leaving until I get my damn watch back, because guess what? I know it's here. It's within 15 feet of me right now, because my phone is still syncing to it. And I know it's within this range, so guess what? We're gonna keep looking for this until I find it. And she was being a real piece of crap, and I was being assertive, but not in any way aggressive, and telling her, it's here. I know it's here. I know it's here. I know it's here. So finally, after she would not stop, and she kept telling me it wasn't here 10 times, she finally looks underneath the x-ray machine. If you looked underneath the x-ray machine, like that's where it would have been. I put it in the basket, you guys roll the x-ray machine, comes out the other side, and there's no watch. It has to be within this 6-foot range here. She looks underneath, and then she basically goes, oh, you found it, which I didn't know if she found it, because she had towards another desk. I thought maybe somebody else had said they found it, dropped it on a note. She went and got a big stick, knocked it out from underneath the x-ray machine, and then hands it to me. And I said, so it wasn't my fault. Like, you guys knocked this off the x-ray machine, and it was here. You were wrong, I was right. And she's like, well, you shouldn't have taken it off. We never told you to take your watch off. I said, I was told to empty my pockets. And that's what I did. It was in my pocket, because I just washed my hands. So guess what? That was your fault. And she goes, don't talk to me. And I go, I said, sure you have yourself a blessed day. And she goes, don't talk to me. And I was like, what did you say? And she was all pissy and stormed off back behind, far enough back I couldn't reach her. And I traveled with my mother, and I didn't want to get kicked off this flight. If I'd been in Florida airport flying out, I might have been a little less concerned about it, but I still had to get home. I let it go and just basically told her to make sure she had a blessed day again, as she yelled, don't you talk to me. But I filmed it because I knew as soon as we found it, I thought it was going to turn different. So I grabbed my phone real quick and turned on the camera, which I don't think you're legally allowed to film at TSA, so probably will never be able to post that. But I had my watch, and I said, was I being an asshole? And she goes, no. She goes, you wanted your watch, you could tell it was there. But I told my wife, I said, if I'd had a regular watch, not a Bluetooth watch that I could sync up my phone, she would never believe me that was in that 15-foot range. They would have never looked. They wouldn't have cared. They would have moved on. So yeah, not really happy about that part, but it is what it is. So got my watch back, went over, sat and waiting for the plane. They moved our gate from whatever gate we were to C1, and then we got over to C1. They told us that our seat locations were going to be different, because I guess they were swapping planes on us or something too. So now we're changing planes and that, so our seats are all wrong. So I go up, find out what seats we're in, we get that notified once we're at the gate. And then they didn't tell me what zone I was supposed to load in. So I had to go back up and ask them what zone I was loading in. They said I was unassigned, but just go with 6, which is the last loading zone, didn't care. But so we basically, all that was going good, went and peed a couple more times, went for a plane takeoff, and on one of the stops actually bought some snacks, some little chip type things and stuff, whatnot, to snack on the plane, so I wasn't paying the airplane price for their snacks and whatnot. But got on the plane, some kind of delay happened, something about the back end software, because the computer system wasn't even loading, which felt also really weird. I went through TSA. When I first got to the TSA line, all they took was my driver's license. They didn't ask for ticket information, nothing. And I was like, that seems super weird. Okay, it's kind of strange, because normally I'd have a ticket to go in. And I'm like, whatever. So that didn't happen. And then the rest of the way through in the TSA, got through all that without showing ID or nothing. Got to the gate for the plane, and they never even asked for a ticket or anything. So all they asked me for was my last name, and gave them that. Never asked for a ticket, never asked for ID or nothing. So I don't know if they were using facial recognition software. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but it kind of felt weird. And then we got on the plane. There was a 45-minute, almost an hour long, it was probably almost an hour long delay. Something about the computer system, weights and balances or something. They couldn't get figured out or whatever. I don't know what was up with it. So we sat on the runway for a really long time. Text my wife, we had to turn our phones back on because we turned them off. We thought we were leaving. And then text my wife, she goes, well, according to the app, you're 22 miles from Des Moines. You're flying already. And I go, nope, not us. So she thought I was joking. I go home, like, how would I have talked to you? How would I have texted you with there's no cell phone service on a plane? And she goes, oh, that's true, never mind, blah, blah. So she finally realized when I texted her and said, we're now finally moving again and whatnot. So she realized we were actually not moving. So we got home, everything went fine there. We had a little bit of bumpy flight. It was not bad, but it was more of a rough flight the whole way through. Unlike the way up was super smooth, except for one really bad part, or overhop of Tennessee. It got real bad. So other than that, it was a real smooth flight. This one was just bumpy the whole way home. So went pretty good overall. Spoke to another guy that sat next to Mom. Real nice guy, just chatting, having herself a good conversation and whatnot, whatever. Landed, got off the plane with really no incident. Got to the truck and truck wouldn't start, which hasn't done it. Which you'll turn the key and it starts and then dies. Turn the key, starts and dies. Turn the key, starts and dies. And it hasn't done it since I bought the new house. I thought I kind of, whatever it was, it fixed itself, but it didn't. So I was like, son of a bitch. My wife texted me, what are you doing right now? And I'm like, I'm trying to start my truck, because apparently I guess my dog, like out of nowhere, popped up and like ran around the house like he thought I was in the driveway. So the dog got all super psychic because he thought I was home, but apparently he knew I was trying to get a truck started, get my truck started. So eventually got the truck started. Wasn't that bad. Went ahead and lit myself up a cigar and basically headed on home. Just drank my water from the plane. Didn't bother stopping getting a soda. I was gonna, but I thought I'll live without it. Went home, kind of made my mom deal with some smoke in the truck, but window down, back window open. She'll live. Enjoyed myself a nice cigar. Got home, got to hug my wife. That was nice. Hadn't hugged her for a while. It's kind of sucks. So I got that done, and then from there, ended up outside finishing my cigar, and then I came back in. We chatted a little bit. Went out there for a little while. Lit up another cigar, and invited my wife out. Set up the fan on hers. It's warm and she was sweating and whatnot. So I blew the fan on her so she had the cool air more than I did. And we chatted a little bit. Talked about how her time was when I was gone. All her stuff. We talked about my stuff and whatnot. And then basically called it a night. So headed both inside. I was gonna stay out there a little later, but I was exhausted. I wanted to go to bed. I was like, I'm done. I'm out of here. So headed in. Tried to crash and watched a little bit of TV inside in the house, and was glad to be back in the air conditioning, and was good to go. So that's all I got for right now. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have yourself a safe, wonderful day. Thanks for watching.